Well, welcome everyone to Derek's Travel Chats again this week. As you can see, I'm have my face mask on, trying to be socially distanced, but from my guests. And I'd like to welcome today Ken Nickerson, the Senior Sales Manager for Atlantic Canada and Trafalgar. And I was going to say Insight then, but Cost Saver. Ken and I have been friends now for 10 years or more now. So again, thank you for coming on board, Ken, and looking forward to hear what Trafalgar has to offer as we look back into this pandemic that we're into. And so thank you very much for coming on board.
Thank you, Derek. It's a pleasure to be here. And yeah, it's hard to believe it's been at least 10 years that we've known each other. Crazy times.
Yeah. So Ken, I guess we've talked about what I'm doing here as far as sharing information with clients and prospective clients for myself, but generally hopefully good information that everybody can use as we prepare to look at travel. I know there's some issues with a second wave, and people are concerned about where they will go and when they will go. But hopefully, with a vaccine, that people can start preparing for to travel again. Hopefully in the near future, or at least in 2021. So if you want to just give us an idea on how Trafalgar has been dealing with COVID-19 and moving forward.
Sure, I'm happy to share. As like everyone, it's been a challenging time for us as a company and as a brand when we had to halt operations or suspend them back in March. I don't think anybody ever saw that happening or it lasting as long as it has. I think one of the great things about Trafalgar and being part of the Travel Corporation, who is privately owned, the company's privately owned by the Tolman family. In fact, last week we did our virtual global sales and marketing conference, and our chairman, 90 years young on Sunday, Stanley, reassured us that the Travel Corporation is solid, it's financially stable, they have no debt, and that we'll ride this out. And it's not about will people travel again, when will they travel? And so we're preparing, we're getting ready, we are ready. When the world is ready to travel, we're ready to take them.
Sounds great. And I've had a lot of experience with Trafalgar and been on a number of your coaches, and they just have a superb product to begin with. So I know all of the things that the Tolman family are putting in place for the future are just going to make the product so much better even still. So well, I guess with that, Ken, I mean, as you said, you just went through your own conference and virtual conference and training, which I'm sure they brought you up to speed. And as you indicated before we came on the air, they went through a presentation with regard to your, I guess, making the travel worry-free. And if you'd like to, share that screen and go through that with our listeners, be greatly appreciated.
Yes, I'm happy to share it. And the information that I share today is available. The information is all on the Trafalgar website as well. So people can go in later and look at the website, read what we're doing, and to help them understand the steps that we're taking as an organization to ensure that, as I mentioned, when we get ready to travel, people are ready to travel, that we're ready to go. We've had our operations teams working around the clock to figure out, the best way to do this, and hopefully, again, we're prepared and ready to take the world and show them all the great sights that there are to see. With WorryFree Travel, it is. I'll talk a little bit about the well-being protocols that we've put in place. our risk-free and flexible booking policies that we've put in the plan, and the trips, what we've done to help make sure that we can still operate and deliver the sort of experiences that guests have become to expect from Trafalgar. And with 53% of our business repeat, it's important that we continue to move forward and look after the people that travel with us. But with the worry-free planning, one of the things is we've been working with the World Health Organization, the WHO. We've been working with the World Travel and Tourism Council, WTTC, to make sure that what we are doing when we go back out on the road with our coaches, that we meet the protocols that are put in place. And you'll see the safe travels that we've been given permission by the World Travel and Tourism Organization to use, meaning that we're meeting all the protocols, we're taking all the right steps to ensure our guest safety. We know people are nervous about investing money right now, and companies, will we be there? Will we go under? Again, the Tolman family have reassured everyone that their money is safe with us. Brett Tolman, even though we're a privately owned company, did share some information on the website about our hotel chain, Red Carnation, and how they have over $300 million in assets and one of the 40 brands with the company. So your money is safe with us, and the flexibility that we've built into the trip as well. And again, we've worked with all of our partners that we utilize, be it restaurants, sightseeing, the families we visit when we travel. We're working with all of those partners to make sure that they're meeting the protocols that we need to meet as well when we're traveling out there in the world today. So Safe Travels, this is the logo that we are using and have been permitted to use by the World Travel and Tourism Council. 3 steps in place: the support team that we have globally, our distance and hygiene protocols, and incident reporting as well. Like, we've looked at every aspect of travel and what we can do to make sure that everyone's being looked after. We'll have our expertly trained travel directors looking after our guests as we travel. They have all been through the hygiene and distancing protocol trainings. I actually did those trainings myself so I would have a better understanding. Drivers, same thing, making sure that our fleet of coaches is exceptionally clean, which they are anyhow. And as you mentioned, Eric, you have traveled with us, but even going the extra step and making sure that it's well looked after. And for the first time ever, we are introducing on our trips where there are 20 or more guests, a well-being director, and they will support the travel director and the driver in ensuring that all the protocols are met by all of our partners that we work with on the road, and that our guests are comfortable and looked after as well. So it's really a game changer to have that sort of an individual on the trips to ensure that our guests are being looked after. We will ask every guest to fill out a well-being declaration before they join us on trip. If they don't, they cannot join us. We want to make sure that the people getting aboard are healthy and not carrying COVID-19. Again, we checked with all of our partners to make sure everything is clean. The hygiene, we will have masks and sanitization mediums on board. We do encourage guests to bring their own masks. We don't have enough to, as you know, it's sometimes tough to get them, but we do encourage guests to bring the masks that they're comfortable with. We will have extras on board as well. We've put new filters on our coaches that clean the area even better than before. Any of the touch points that highly touched will be sanitized on a regular basis, and even offloading and onloading. There's a protocol in place to make sure that we maintain all of the physical distancing that we can. We've actually reduced the number of guests that will be on our coaches, so they will range from 26 to a maximum of 30 guests on certain departures. So the departures with 26 guests will be featured on the website as well. So a smaller group travel, and in Asia and other parts of the world will be 20 guests on coach. So that allows us to meet those requirements for distances as well. And our teams will always be kept up to date. There is a 24/7 support operations team that will make sure that everyone's looked after. And the same thing with, should somebody become ill on coach, all the steps are in place to make sure that they're looked after. If they do need to be hospitalized, that someone's there to be with them. We're with our guests 24/7 to make sure they're looked after. A lot of this we've been doing for a long, long time, but we are enhancing these programs to ensure in a COVID world that we are making that our guests are being well looked after and that they can travel worry-free. Again, if you go to the website, you can click and read the letter from our CEO, Brett Tolman. Mr. Tolman, it's his son, who is he's the CEO of the Travel Corporation. And he has taken steps where, again, with the private company, they don't have to disclose information, but they have, just so people know that their money is safe with us, that we are not going bankrupt. We are not going to take their money and run. It will be there for them when they're ready to travel. We're also very fortunate in Canada, being based in Ontario and part of the Tourism Industry Council of Ontario, that monies are protected by trust funds as well. So there's a lot of protection. Our deposit is $99 now. And with that $99, this has been extended until December 17th. So for a booking, you can pay your $99 deposit. And if you decide within 30 days after making deposit that, no, I'm just not comfortable, it's refundable. Should something happen that you don't travel after that, that money sits as a credit for you to use in the future as well. So you don't lose your money. It's there for you to use. And up until 30 days prior to departure, you can change your date, you can change your trips. The only thing you would do is if it's a trip of more cost, you would pay more. If it's cheaper, we would certainly reimburse the difference on the land portion. Airlines, we have to play by the rules that they set in place. But on the land portion, people can make changes up until 30 days prior to departure. So as you can see, we're really trying to take the worry and the risk out of travel for everyone. And with the trips, we like to say that it's touring differently when you travel with us. We're making sure that the ease is there for you. We'll show you all the must-see sites, but it's the local access that we have today that we've built in over 100 years of the corporation being around. And to make sure that when we travel, we do make it matter and that we give back to the communities that we travel to and support small businesses and private businesses as well, wherever we can. So it really is about making travel feel good. So that's just a little bit of information, Derek, on what we've done as a company to and make sure that people will be looked after, our guests will be well looked after when they travel with us, and that we're not leaving any stone unturned. We're really making sure that when we go, we'll be ready for our guests.
So Ken, is there, that's all excellent information, and I congratulate Trafalgar on coming up with a great plan for worry-free travel. Are you connected with any particular insurance company with regard to personal insurance for passengers that will protect them from COVID, or is that's something that they will collect on their own or through their agent?
Well, we always recommend that they work with their travel agent partner. We do have an agreement with Manulife Insurance here in Canada, and I believe Manulife has now announced that they will cover anybody buying insurance with COVID, that if they do contract COVID, that they are covered, their expenses. It's the same as any insurance, so long as it's a stable condition when you go in and there's no condition starting, you're covered. So if it happens on trip, you would be covered. So yes, we do have partnerships with companies like Manulife, but we always recommend that they talk to the travel agent partner and make sure they get the right insurance that covers them the way they need coverage. And
if the government were to put out a travel advisory because of a COVID incident, how soon will Trafalgar, put a cancellation on that particular trip?
As soon as the government makes an announcement, we respond immediately. So if the government tomorrow were to say no travel to a certain country, then any trip entering that country would be suspended. Guests would be given an opportunity to move their trip to a different time or a different destination as such, or their money will sit as a credit for them to use once the ban is or the advisory has been lifted. So, but we react immediately as soon as the government of Canada or any government puts it in place, then we respond immediately.
Okay. Well, I got to say, I'm very, very glad to see such a detailed program, because I know with this sudden thing that took place in March, I mean, and the travel world was just turned upside down, and your company has really stepped up to be able to provide a safe travel for people. So, and your $99 deposit, you say, is on until December, is it?
That's correct. Yeah. And right now it's on until December 17th. And make it extended, I'm not sure at this point in time, but it is available until December.
I guess, will there be any particular itineraries that you're going to focus on as a reopening? A limited number of itineraries, or will there be your full scale program available, or is it just going to be a limited number of coaches or trip itineraries?
Well, we're ready to open up the entire program. It will depend on the restrictions that countries have placed on who can travel into their countries as well. But we're quite certain, and the feedback we've gotten from any surveys we've done or the travel industry itself, is that domestic travel will likely be the first to start up. So we're looking forward to our Near Not Far series, which are a series of trips across Canada where people can travel. We're looking at maybe offering Canadian-only coaches, so our guests that from Canada can travel. One of our top-selling trips for 2020, and I know you'll be proud to hear this, Derek, and anyone listening, was our reinvented Newfoundland Labrador itinerary. And when we were being briefed last week at the conference, virtual conference, the head gentleman for building trips in North America was so proud of the success we had. Unfortunately, we didn't get to operate them, but they all know that I'm a champion of Newfoundland. As you know, I love that province with all my heart. So I've been sharing and doing a lot of presentations with my colleagues around the world on our Canadian series, but in particular the Newfoundland Labrador. And I think it was my photos from Iceberg Alley a few years ago that I shared internally that had everybody just scrambling. It's like, oh my gosh, we need to get back to Newfoundland and Labrador. So we're really happy. And on that trip, we actually go to St. Pierre, so they get to visit France as well as Newfoundland and Labrador. So it's
two countries in one time.
Yeah. So we really think that the domestic travel will be the first to restart, followed shortly by the countries that are opening the borders. No, and I think we're very fortunate that Canada has handled the pandemic probably better than most countries, and we are welcome in over 145 countries where others aren't. So it's good to know they're ready to welcome us back. We just need more people to get into that same scenario where they can travel, and the 2-week travel ban or self-isolation. I think once that lifts as well, that will really help things.
What kind of itinerary domestically do we have for Newfoundlanders if they wanted to go, say, in 2021 to other parts of Canada?
We have some incredible itineraries. We have one that even starts in Toronto, the Great Canadian Train Journey, and it starts in Toronto, which I think should be starting in Halifax, but for the length of time and purposes, it does start in Toronto and travels right across the country to BC. But our Canadian Rocky program is amazing. We have several itineraries that we offer in Trafalgar and Cost Saver that really highlight Canada as a whole. We have trips where in Canmore, Alberta, which I got to visit 4 years ago and fell in love with that village. Banff is amazing, but Canmore is it's a little gem. We visit a hockey team, the Canmore Eagles, and it's a junior A hockey team, and our guests actually get suited up, full gear, and they go out on the ice, and they get to play hockey with the team. They get to take shots on the goalie and everything.
Well, as long as they got a pair of skates with 2 blades on each foot for me, I'll be good. I'm in that boat. Same to say that being in Newfoundland, but I'm not a real good skater, so.
No, same here. The skating, I left that to my family, my siblings. It certainly wasn't for me.
So,
but had great. And what's great? sorry, go ahead.
Well, Europe is probably one of your key destinations, and you and I have worked tremendously close with putting together tours of the battlefields of Europe and so on. And I want to let people know that we're still working on that, and because next year we'll mark the 105th anniversary of the Beaumont Hamel and the start of the Trail of the Caribou. So I wanted to let people know that we're still working on that, and actually in 2 weeks' time we'll have a gentleman from that works with your company, and is probably the best known for the battlefield tours. James Thompson will be on the show, and then the following week, actually, Newfoundlanders will know this person, retired Major Michael Pretty, who's with the Trail of the Caribou Research Group, will be there. So really trying to tailor that particular specialty and tour to Newfoundlanders and to all Canadians who have an interest to hopefully be part of that with us next year as well. So, and the staff and head office and London office are doing a great job putting it all together for us. So,
yeah, and you and I both have been in those areas a few times now, and I have to say, as a Canadian, there's nothing more moving than being in those countries and in those villages. It's because many of them are off the beaten track. You would never know where they exist. But to be there and to see how they embrace and welcome Canadians as a whole it's mind blowing. And having been at Beaumont Hamel myself, it is one of the most moving memorials. It's just incredible. But it's hard to say we're very fortunate, but I think the Commonwealth War Graves Commission have done a great job along with the allied partners countries to keeping these sites pristine and beautiful, and meeting young people from Newfoundland that were working with Parks Canada at Beaumont Hamel. You're stepping on Newfoundland territory when you're there. It's pretty incredible. I recommend everybody does it. This should be a bucket list for everyone.
Yeah. So moving forward now, Ken, how do you see the 2021, 2022 for the clients with regard to Trafalgar? I know we've talked about all of the protocols and the new normal that you're looking at. Is there anything else that Trafalgar wants to be able to provide and help people get those bucket list dream vacations?
Yeah, it's one of the things that we've been working hard at over the last number of years on our trips. It's to make sure that we include activities that make travel matter. Part of the Travel Corporation has a not-for-profit organization called the Tread Right Foundation, and actually the head of it is Shannon Guillen, and she's a great Newfoundland lady that is running the Tread Right Foundation globally. She and her team look for projects, and I have to say the Travel Corporation, despite there being no cash flow right now, are funding 13 projects and did not stop funding them throughout this pandemic. But we've worked hard at finding and adding to all of our itineraries experiences where we highlight best practices and sustainability, and making sure that when we visit places that we visit the sites that need the funding and need the help and support to keep them going. And under Join Trafalgar or Make Travel Matter, we'll highlight those on the brochure page. Probably most of it now will be on the website, but we will be printing brochures in a limited number. But at the same time, it's an opportunity for people to travel with us, knowing that they are giving back to local communities and to causes that are near and dear to the Tolman family, the Tread Right Foundation, and we focus on wildlife, the planet, and the people. So we ensure everything we do meets the highest levels of standards. Same with animal activity. We do not do anything that isn't approved by wildlife organizations to say that, yes, this is sustainable, this is acceptable, and then we practice. So you will never ride an elephant on a Trafalgar trip. It's just not our practice. So it's a great way to do that. So people want to go. I can tell you, Derek, out of all the surveys we've done, people are just waiting to hit send. They want to book, and when things relax a little bit and people are comfortable booking, we're expecting our trips to fill very, very fast.
Well, I know you won't get to ride an elephant, and I agree with you 100% on that. But I can categorically say you will have the thrill of a lifetime being able to see large herds of elephants and every other wild animal in Africa. If you look at the Africa program by Trafalgar, and as you and I experienced last year in Kruger Park, was just a phenomenal trip to get to see the big five and so many other animals at Kruger Park, and experience the hospitality of South Africa. So
yeah, that was definitely a life-changing trip. It was.
yeah.
I still look at photos today and I shake my head and think, how do I get to be so fortunate to do what we do and see where see what we get to see and experience? It's truly remarkable.
Yeah. Last, Be My Guest is a big part of Trafalgar, and a big experience, personal experience that you give your clients and your guests. Can you give our listeners some idea of some of the type of Be My Guest experiences that they could, look forward to, say probably somewhere, in Europe or whatever?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 11 years ago, we launched the Be My Guest program, Connect with Locals. And it's an opportunity to meet a local family at their home or in their business, learn about their background, their history, and their way of life. There's so many incredible ones. It's hard to choose one or two, but I will highlight just quickly a couple. One is a young lady in Ireland outside of Dublin, Catherine Fluvio. She's a very famous international chef, and she runs her own school on the family farm. The farm was falling into disrepair. She bought it from her great uncle, and so she's now a third generation owner of the farm, I believe it is, maybe fourth. But she welcomes our guests at her family home. She takes them out into the gardens, talks about all the food she grows. It's a true farm to table experience. And I got to meet her in Belfast last year, and when she spoke about being welcoming Trafalgar guests into her home, she actually got quite emotional, and she said she doesn't do it for money. She's very successful, but she does it because she loves meeting people from around the world. Another quick example is one just outside of Budapest in Hungary, Konrad Scheisel. Konrad's dad inherited back after the Cold War ended and the Iron Curtain fell, and Hungary was once again a democracy. He inherited back the family business, and it's a winery and restaurant. So today, Conrad greets our guests when we arrive at the restaurant, takes us into the business, takes us down into his wine cellar. They don't grow their own grapes, but there's some wonderful grapes vineyards in Hungary. So they bring the grapes in, they make the wines. He tells the story of how back during the Second World War, his family helped their Jewish neighbors and friends escape by hiding them in wine barrels and smuggling them out of the country. Today, when you go into the restaurant, the door that you go through is built from these barrels. And it's such a remarkable feeling when you hear Conrad's story. And when I met Conrad, he couldn't speak English. It was a new addition to the Be My Guest family. But our travel director did all of the interpretation, but the story's moving. And these are the sorts of things that we're striving to add to every itinerary that we do. In fact, Trafalgar in 2021 will have a Be My Guest experience or Connect with Locals on every itinerary that we offer, which is remarkable.
Oh, yeah, I've been lucky enough to, last year in South Africa, we went to the winery.
The wall, yeah.
And it was just a wonderful experience. And then when I was in Spain with you, went to a cider distillery and got to see them on how they take the bottle and the glasses here and the bottles up here, and they tip and they catch, everything goes in the glass. There's hardly any, they don't spill it, and it's just and they deliver just a fabulous meal at the same time. So, people can expect to have that wow factor when they're part of a Be My Guest experience on that trip. So Ken, thank you very much for being part of Derek's Travel Chats today. I hope people enjoyed it and understand how Trafalgar is moving ahead and to make travel worry-free from their standpoint, and the Tolman family are prepared to wait out the storm, so to speak, or wait out the virus, and make sure that people can continue to have those bucket lists, whether it's pre-vaccine or post-vaccine, when they decide to travel. And again, that $99 deposit, worry-free deposit, I'd like to invite people to say, look, if there's something on your mind, you want to put down your $99 and you know that you're protected. We're here at E&B Travel. We're ready to help you and wade through all of the things that you need to go through. So again, Ken, thank you. Really appreciate being a partner with you and Trafalgar, and all of the staff of Trafalgar are just top notch. So thank you very much for being part of the show.
Thank you so much, Derek. And again, thank you for all the support over the last number of years. It's been a great partnership and a great friendship as well.
Okay. And to our viewers, next week we'll be speaking with the Norwegian Cruise Lines, and we have a full lineup for October, going right into November. So please stay tuned to our Facebook page. And again, thank you very much for tuning in. All right. Take care, Ken.
You too, Derek.
Okay.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.